understand these scenarios, I'm here to make it very interesting. Okay. Now, let us say that this is a guy called John. Let's take a call center example. Okay. And as a customer, you call the call center and tells him that in my phone, I'm getting this sort of a problem. Then he says, oh, this problem is due to so and so. So that is problem A. Then tomorrow you call again and tell John, this is what I'm getting on my phone. And John now says, for the same scenario, he says it is problem B. So that means John is not able to repeat what he said. The same situation, when you call for the first time, he says it's due to problem A. And when you again call him and tell him the same problem again, the phone got disconnected during the call. So you called him again, hey, John, and then he tells it. Now, for the part I'll tell you, first, let us understand this example. You call the customer care, explain the problem. He says, this is because of problem so-and-so. The second time you explain the same thing and he reports that this is due to so-and-so, which means that he is not able to repeat what he said. Okay, suppose you go to the doctor and first time you say that, my abdomen is paining. Then he says, it is because, you have acidity. Then he goes out and comes back and again you say, I told you, this is, my abdomen is a problem. Oh, is it? That is because probably you might have high sugar level or something like that. So he's not able to repeat what he said. Reproducibility means you call customer care and you explain a situation. John said that it is because of problem A. The call got disconnected. You again called her. Mary took now and she says it is because of problem B. So they are not able to reproduce. I'll give you one more example. In textile industries, and all of you will be able to relate to this, okay? In textiles, a piece of cloth, and for the shade of the cloth, there is an acceptance and rejection, okay? So John sees that cloth and he says, oh, this shade is good. He accepts it, okay? After some time, you take the same piece and come and ask John, tell me now this piece whether it is accepted or rejected. He says, no, this earlier piece was accepted, but this piece is rejected. Which means you bought the same piece of cloth to John, but earlier he said, okay, now he's saying not okay. That means he is not repeatable in the textile. Now let me tell you this. This is mostly happening in the same piece of cloth. You go and ask whether the shade is okay to John. John says okay. Another quality inspector, Mary, is there. You ask Mary, is it okay? Mary says it's not okay. So they are not agreeing with each other. So lack of agreement between this different appraisers is called reproducibility problem, and lack of agreement with himself on the same thing is called as a repeatability problem. Okay. But ultimately, there is something called as a truth. So there is a master cloth, okay, of that particular shade. And that is an accepted. In the master cloth, there is a clear standard that this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. So sometimes John may agree with the expert. John's decision may agree with the expert or may not agree with the expert. And Mary's decision may agree with the expert or may not agree with the expert. Okay. So the point that I'm trying to say is all these things you should evaluate to see whether they are fit enough to really test it and take a decision. Okay. Now, here, if you see here, This is called as a measurement system. In a measurement system, sensors, instruments, gauges, procedures, and in this case, the operator's skills also come as a measurement system. So any of this can be a measurement system.